Four comedians are also real good friends, working on jokes, the fun never ends. They're asking each other, is this anything?
I am working on a script that's just a sci-fi pilot, and about 30 pages into it now. Tonight I have my writing group that we read like 7 pages of, so I've got the next.
You have another writing group? I didn't realize.
Oh boy.
I thought we were exclusive here.
At least I'm telling you. You wouldn't want to find out, on some random Zoom call sometime. just walk in.
I see you post a clip, and I click on it thinking it's going to be one of ours. You're gallivanting around town with some other writers.
With some whores.
Do you realize how embarrassing that is for us, Rob, when our friends are looking at you doing this?
I changed my Facebook status for this.
It's not stand-up, guys. It's not. It's all scripted. You never even wanted to do scripted. I asked you to do scripted.
Oh, so now
and
it's
we
my
told you
fault.
we weren't comfortable with that.
I have creative needs, okay? It can't all just be riff this and riff that, okay? Sometimes things need structure.
Does anybody want to tell Brett to stop doing this bit, or
No.
Is he playing Doom? Is it
no? He's
Doom?
playing Apex.
Jarret just wants to be playing Apex.
That's how old I am.
We had a
but I
great
see
time
it, I'm
playing
like,
Apex the other night.
What?
We had a great time playing Apex the other night, me and Brett. It is if you have a PlayStation, it's a totally free game to own and to play. So,
if you have what PlayStation?
PlayStation.
What? Any PlayStation? I have the first one.
The PlayStation 1?
Yeah, we were just talking about it before you came on.
so.
Damn it.
Oh, how coy.
Yeah, they don't give you Apex for PlayStation 1. They give you Bottom Feeder or some kind of other...
Beta?
Yeah, some beta something thing. You're not at the top of the food chain. This is Brett's power play because Anthony wouldn't let us in for 10 minutes to the meeting. He just wants to show that you don't own him.
He knew goddamn well. He knew we were in here waiting.
He's doing a great job of pretending to be stone-faced right now.
He's not even looking at the screen.
He's not even hooked up. I wouldn't hook myself up to make sure that I committed to the bit.
Do you think he thinks we're not here?
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Hey,
There he is. All right.
how much of the episode did I miss?
We're done, actually. That was your whole time.
We only did your section. Yeah.
Yeah, you missed your time.
Oh,
We
man.
riffed
All right.
about what we thought your jokes would be about.
They were great. Your teeth look great, actually, Brett.
Thank you. I got new ones.
Oh, great.
Congratulations.
Ordered them on
I got to
Amazon.
try that. That's. I thought you were talking to me when you. I'm just kidding.
And then how's my volume as well? Do I sound similar to Anthony, Jarret, and Brett?
You're at a good volume.
Microphone.
Can we start every one of the episodes with the sound check? It's my favorite
Can we
part.
make the episodes exclusively the sound check?
Oh, yeah.
That's what the Patreon's for.
On the potential guest list, I put a little key at the top that says X equals a thumbs up, no X equals a shrug, and a bold name means do not book. I figured that way
Ooh.
we could keep it anonymous so that nobody would have to say, I hate that person.
Oh.
If we
I don't
want
really
to.
mind.
So wait. So if the name becomes, this is such a strange system. And X means yes,
X means
and
yes.
I have to put some kind of font alteration in order to indicate
If-
that I don't want somebody.
I thought
Is
the
there
X.
a legend? Do you have a key for me to follow?
I
Is
put
there
it at the top. I did. I put a key up. It's on the sheet.
I thought the X meant we don't want this.
You don't
person.
book them.
That
That's
would
what Rob
make
said
sense.
I thought that's what it was too originally.
I
I
thought
thought Jarret
nothing-
hated 30 people.
I thought nothing meant it's fine. X meant please don't book this person. and that's pretty much all you need at that point.
Okay. Well,
If you do it
new
that way, then
system.
you
I'm
only
gonna
need,
work on a new
you
system.
only need
In my
New
opinion.
system that I just brainstormed.
Great.
Put an X next to somebody that if you don't like them.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's great.
Great.
Now, here's what I was confused about. You just put a list of what seemed like a random assortment of comics, whether you knew them or didn't know. Do you know these people?
No. This was the list of potential people to be on my Stand Up 2020 show that I used to produce with a bunch of other comics.
I see.
And I basically just copy and pasted it. And that's why I thought I wanted to have the
funny
system
that I
of-
wasn't on that list. I didn't even know you ran a
Wasn't
show.
on it either. Actually, you were on it, but your name was bold for some reason. It was a really
Bold with an X
and
next to it.
It was
It
italicized.
was and a shrug. I don't know what that means. There are no straight white men on that list.
Funny, I'm not really white.
Ah.
Are you not? What's your ethnicity?
I mean, I have some white. I have a German last name, so I'm a little bit German. But
No straight white guys on
I'm
the show.
like Italian and Sicilian and Puerto Rican.
Oh,
My
oh,
grandmother was born there and came here when she was like.
You know, before you said Puerto Rican, I really thought you were gonna just end up white again.
no, I know.
I'm actually, I'm German. but I'm
Italian
also-
and English.
Well,
Thank you
said
very
the-
much.
I said the white stuff first.
Our order for today is Rob, Jarret, Brett, and Anthony.
Ooh,
Right.
starting off this out the gate. Today might be. I think I might be doing another shooting a bunch of smaller random ideas at you. I think that might be how
All right.
today goes. I will intro myself, I suppose. Thank you guys for listening to my jokes. Is this anything? Is this anything, boys? This is the name of the show. All right. This thought I had this morning. Americans. This is more like a tweet than anything else. Americans would say, "This is our land," and then you have Native Americans going, "Oh yeah," and then you have buffaloes going, "Hold my beer." That's it. That's what I came up with. I'm sick of Native Americans getting all the credit. All right, they came in here too and started pillaging. The animals that were here. So, what's and then maybe we could have dinosaurs before that, being like,
And then single-celled organisms.
yeah. Just amoebas, just like,
But the Native Americans, they would follow the buffalo around, right? And then
kill 'em.
And kill them, but they would only like take what they need. Like they would
yes,
kill one
yes.
at a time. So it would be weird if we did that with Native Americans.
I do like how Rob specified that they would kill them, as though Brett was suggesting that the Americans were just following the buffalo around, and the buffalo were like, "You have to stop. This is not okay what you're doing." And like,
I'm just trying to live my life.
Why? I just thought where you were going was cool. I don't know. Is that a river?
Yeah.
That's nice.
We're not traveling together, the Native Americans and the
I was
buffalo.
already going this way.
Maybe you're following
You're
us.
following me. You're following me.
Who told the buffalo where we're going? Get there ahead of us. Yeah.
Every time they see the buffalo, they're like, "What? Yeah. Oh my god!"
What are the odds? The buffalo
is-
got a restraining order. It's enough already.
Exactly. This is the clip that I want to send other comics who are fearful of sharing their like golden bit ideas. And I just want to show them, like, you don't have to come up with anything good. We'll make it fun for a few minutes. I can
And then
just
we
show
can
them,
go
yeah,
about our lives.
right. I said this is what I brought to the group today. I brought the buffalo thing.
Maybe we should call the podcast "Everything Is Anything," or "Anything Is Something."
Anything and everything.
You could literally come on and be like, "I have this joke for an idea." Is that something? And we would
that
be
a
like,
thing?
"That's like that."
It's like a worm, or it's the wave, or maybe it's a wave worm. All right, so that was my. Oh, okay. So this is somewhat related. This is an old joke that I did years ago when I was literally first starting out, and I put it down, and I want to explore it again. All right, Marco Polo. If Marco Polo the Explorer was anything like Marco Polo the game, I think that we have exaggerated his qualifications and his skills over time. Just imagine him out in the middle of the ocean with his eyes closed, like China, China, China. That's it. That's the joke.
What is the response? There's the call. But what's the response? Like,
It's super racist. I don't think I want to say it. I never had a response.
well, I think that's a great joke. I think it's just missing.
I think it's
missing
great.
it.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Republic.
the response.
Not every country calls themselves what we call them.
That's true.
So
Not even
maybe it would be
close.
funny if he was saying China and then China responded with what their actual name was.
Right,
and then-
right.
Ah.
And then Marco Polo went in that direction. I don't know what the correct answer is to this, but I think it might be a little confusing because that's not really what the game Marco Polo is. The game is one person says Marco and the other person says Polo.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
But that's the
I
game.
kind of thought as you're going into the joke that it might be funnier just to go for Marco Polo just to be on his ship going Marco and waiting for somebody to say his last name. You know?
Oh, and then he's just like, China's not this way. I didn't hear it.
That's true. Yeah, I could have had him saying his own name. I had him saying the thing.
Place he was going. Which I think is, again, I don't know what the correct answer is. I think they're both really funny ideas.
And Zhonghua is.
Is that the-
I don't know.
that's what China-
I just looked it up.
Zhonghua.
That's how they say.
Yep, he nailed it. I thought Brett was doing the same thing. I wanted to make sure. There you go.
That's how they say China?
In Chinese, yeah. Actually, I had a whole. Did I ever
What
tell you
is
about
it,
this? I think I
Mandarin
told
or
you,
Cantonese?
Anthony, about this. This was Mandarin. I think I looked up.
Huh.
I had a very protracted bit about this very concept, Jarret, where I would say I would get corrected about saying Iraq or Iran, and people would be like, "It's Iran, it's Iraq," and I'm like, "It's neither. It's Al Iraq or it's Iran." If you want to fucking speak with an Arabic accent and say it right, so you're just bastardizing it as well, but I'm just doing it worse. Maybe who cares? You
Yeah.
know. So
Also, it's Deutschland. It's
Yeah.
Bonn.
right.
España.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, none of the things that we say are right. So all
Mm-hmm.
you want me to do is to say the name of the country with an Arabic accent, which has got to be more offensive.
Actually,
Right? I mean, that's just-
it's Arabic. I would like for you to go on a rant and then the person still correct something.
So yeah, that was some thought I had, but I thought it was too heady or weird. And then I came up with some other ideas. I should bring it. I'm telling you right now. And then I wanted to have another one where, you know, I don't go around correcting other people when they say America, and I'll be like, it's America. Thank you. Whatever. I just say it all angry and racist like.
I really like that bit.
but that-
I had it as a idea to maybe write a joke about, like, in my notes, and I never could think of anything funny for it. I think that's a really funny and good take. But the thing that I think is so weird about it is it's like a name. It's not like, you know, here's a pineapple. You get to call it something. We get to call it something because we have two different languages.
Mhm.
It's a little bit like you being like, my name is Rob, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Aaron.
It's just easier for my
And then everybody in my
language.
family is going to call you Aaron, you know.
It's actually
It's like-
Iran.
Because it's the same for us. People call us Los Estados Unidos. And it's like,
Exactly.
that's not our name,
Right.
you know?
And that's I think I went that route with it, and it'd be in another language, and then that's when I wanted to say America or something like some kind of misdirect or whatever. But yeah, that is the
And
exactly the point.
there's also some weird ones like Paris, which is like, we decided to say that name that they gave their city, but we're saying it incorrectly.
Yeah.
Because they call it Paris,
Right.
but we're like, but it's written Paris. we'll call it Paris. You know, sorry, this is
No, I'm
soapbox.
fascinated by the exact same thing that you are. And every time I've ever been corrected, I'm like, but you realize that doesn't actually, you're not really right. And it bothered me much more like 10 years ago when those countries were coming up more in regular conversation. And there was this weird, subtle, almost liberal push to be like, no, we're going to say it the right way. And I'm like, there is no right way. And we're bombing them every day. So what's the point of saying who cares? We're saying the country the right way. I was like, and it's not correct.
That might be the ticket there. I think if you are having somebody who is correcting you to be like conscious of the Iranian people while discussing bombing them all the time, I think that is very funny.
Is there a way for an Iranian person to say something like, you bombed my home in Iran, and then the person who's bombing them to say, it's pronounced Iran?
We occupied Iran. Oh, that's funny. I had a recent resurgence of that. I was talking to Anish Shah about traveling to Pakistan, and he's Indian. He obviously is fine to say the country the right way. So, but it was I held my ground and he held his ground. So we had a full conversation back and forth. I was like, yeah, I actually just did stand up in Pakistan. He's like, you went to Pakistan? That's great, man. I was like, yeah, Pakistan was really fun. He's like, yeah, Pakistan, it's beautiful. And I was like, Pakistan is beautiful. You must have said it like 3 or 4
My
times.
favorite things are
so
the
funny.
people in Pakistan.
At the end of it, you both
Well,
are just
I
saying it back and forth with just Pakistan.
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 And then he Bugs Bunny'd me. He switched it.
It's Pakistan, and that's final.
That's great.
That was a fun little. I don't know how to include that. I always put that in a script one day, but nothing more.
Oh, with your other writers group?
Yeah, with
Fucking asshole.
you son of a bitch.
You're just workshopping for the other writing group.
Well, I have to come to them with worked out things, okay? I don't need
So this next thing is a line of dialogue. I don't know. Guess what you need to know about the characters.
I'm working on this 15-minute short film, and here's the script. Start the
Great.
clock.
All I was doing is workshopping this just for better Zoom calls. I gotta be sure that stuff's polished.
But the script is about.
But in the other
Indian
Zoom
who-
calls, you're the best.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Rob's ideas are always so fleshed out. God, that guy's a monster.
That's funny.
Yeah, Mom, but he doesn't need to be on for every single call, Mom. He's just we're just having a little family chat.
All right, I got one more really half-brained idea. When people would like in TV shows or movies or something, if the detective or the smart person is trying to like figure out what's going on, sometimes they'll say like, I have to connect the dots. And it's like, you got to connect the dots. But connecting the dots is like something you do in kindergarten. Like it's such a weird thing to think is like, it's almost like I got to paint by the numbers. I got to play hopscotch to figure it out. How am I going to? I just think it's a weird reference. Got to connect it. It's so
I
easy.
gotta put my shoes in a cubby.
Learn how to tie their sneakers, Stephen.
Well,
Once you tie your sneakers, you get the way.
we solved the mystery, so I guess it's cleanup time. Cleanup time, everybody.
But I gotta be careful because the floor is lava.
Another rough day, detective. Give me a juice box and don't talk to me.
I think these criminals just don't know. No hitting.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's a really funny idea, Rob. It's one of those jokes that I feel like I just want to answer the question that you're asking.
Oh, sure. Yeah. What
that
would your
make
answer
sense?
be? What would your legit
it's like
Answer B.
it's like detectives are always saying we got to connect the dots. It's like, yeah, well, there's a pattern, and they want to connect the dots of the pattern so they can find the killer.
Right, but as right.
Where it's like I had an old joke that was like I heard a train conductor once say like transfer here for the W train. That's W is in whiskey, and I was like, that guy's life is not in a good place if whiskey was the first thing that he thought of for W. And I had a friend who was in the military who was like, every time I hear you tell that joke, I get so pissed off because I'm like, no, that's the call sign for W.
I see.
In the military alphabet, Alpha, Whiskey, Foxtrot, whatever, like that's what it is, And so it's sort of like, I know you're not like feigning ignorance there.
Mm-hmm. It says something about our military, but that's the second half of your joke.
Foxtrot, whiskey. These guys just want to get drunk and dance.
Rape, sodomy, trauma. Like, what's the matter with you?
I think if you do ask this question, though, and your punchlines are all the answers, though, that works perfectly, like the way you said it. Are all of, like, you could say, I always hear detectives say, we got to connect the dots. And I always wonder, like, are all of that guy's expressions like kindergarten activities? And then you just gave yourself permission to go through all the kindergarten activities.
Yeah. I know Brett loves that style and structure for sure. I actually do understand, Jarret, what you're getting at, because I've had a similar thing where I'm like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. It does feel like tenuous.
But I think but Jarret, your example is somebody who the average person doesn't know, but that guy knows why. Mm-hmm. Whereas everybody knows what connecting the dots means. And one person's not going to be like, that's not what it means. Like, you have to give the audience some trust that they can go on a creative journey. Otherwise, they're not going to enjoy the show at all.
I guess it's not a one-to-one analogy, but my thinking was like, I immediately started thinking like, well, how else should that detective then communicate that idea if they can't use that very well?
Oh, that's very funny, though.
The expression.
It's like, I guess we just got to figure out in which way these two pieces of evidence connect so that it can lead to finding a suspect, which may lead to more evidence.
And then we can look at the picture that it makes.
I think
when we
there's more examples of this, because people will refer to things like that as like a puzzle, jigsaw. Just got to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Yeah. So there are a lot of these.
But puzzles are actually hard, or they can be. Connecting the dots is not fucking hard. That's what makes me laugh.
But it's funny that it's
the dots. What human would look at dots and be like, I just gotta connect the dots? And like they're sweating the way because the expression I think is ill-fitted for what's going on.
We have to find the other dots, not connect them, because that's what's missing. Because if you already know where the dots are, then it's easy to connect them. But you're missing dots.
Yeah.
But really what it is you connect the dots and then you look at all of them and you see the picture that it makes.
Mm-hmm.
This is not to change your joke
Looks like
entirely,
it was
Rob.
Orion the whole time.
My thought was
That's really funny.
like, because you were saying like detectives were saying it like
women is bear.
oh, that's
They're
funny.
at it again.
You think astrologists ever look up in the night sky and they're like, we gotta connect the dots?
There was some mystery up there, some murder.
What I was thinking was, what if kindergartners say it with the exact same severity? It's like, what the hell am I looking at? Oh, we gotta connect the dots.
We gotta connect the dots.
It's a butterfly.
We're
gonna get this.
They're putting a puzzle together of constellations.
There you go. That's the Anthony of Five joke. I had a puzzle. Yeah, I had a puzzle that was of constellations. After I put the pieces together, I still had to connect the dots.
Nice.
That's like seems straight out of Anthony's set.
It's a puzzle of stars, but you had to connect the dots to see the constellations.
That's great. I'm definitely out of time. That was
All
fun.
right.
Thank you, guys.
Man, I wish I wrote that.
All right. I've got the slightly longer bit that is half of it I think is like pretty good already, and then the other half is like more like a story that has like one punchline at the end. So I just want to let you know how that's gonna break up. Okay. So something that I've learned about myself is that I have a lot of drug confidence, and that is not to say that I'm always confident when I'm on drugs, but that I am confident I will always have a great time when I'm on drugs. Some people have only like 5 things that they can do on drugs, or they'll freak out, they get really anxious. But when I'm on drugs, every activity is fun. Nothing can stress me out. Some people, when they smoke pot, they're like, I can't go outside. What if people see me and they know I'm high and they tell the cops and the cops find out I'm high and they send me to jail? And I'd be like, oh, sweet, the cops are here. You guys have weird outfits. Outfits? Uniforms. They're called uniforms. That's the word. Are you guys arresting me? This is going to be weird. All right, so that's the first part. Second part is... Oh, sorry, didn't finish the first part, actually. I sincerely believe that if I was tripping my balls off and someone told me to perform surgery, I would have a blast. That person would die, but I would have a great time. Nice. Second part is this. My fiance does not have drug confidence, which is weird because she was my drug Sherpa for the longest time. She was the one who introduced me to doing drugs, and now the student has become the master. One time we were doing mushrooms together, and she started to have a bad trip. But I didn't think that she could have a bad trip because she was so much more experienced than me. And I was having a great time because, as I said, I always do. So when she turned to me and said, baby, I'm freaking out, I told her, okay, figure out how to solve it yourself. And that is the only time that someone on mushrooms has ever turned into a Republican. Okay. Any thoughts, guys?
I have a few notes. I think of the first part where you say, are you guys arresting me? This is going to be weird. I think it'd be way better if you were like, you guys are arresting me? This is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I thought that... Do you know that thing where some people would be like, let's get weird? You know, like that? That's the vibe I'm going for. You know, where it's like
just say, let's get
mischievous, weird, you know, like, this is going to get weird.
Yeah, well, yeah. Just say, let's get weird.
All right, let's get weird.
All right, let's get weird. Are you guys going to arrest me? All right, let's get weird.
I won't resist. And then what was the next part? Oh, I want an example. You've given me examples of how you're cool during an activity that most people would freak out. If you're going to be telling me that you'd have a great time giving surgery, I need an example of you having a great time while this guy's dying.
Gotcha. Okay, which one's the appendix again? Okay. Okay.
Kind of looks like a fish.
Wouldn't it be great if the organs could tell you which ones they were? You know, like, I am the kid, I am the appendix. Don't take me out.
No, that's what the appendix is for. Is to look up the names of the organs. That's why you take that one first.
If I have time for one more, I'd
do it.
Yeah, start one more. Yeah, of course.
So my fiance really likes Dr. Phil. She showed me this episode the other day. A woman who was crazy paranoid that her boyfriend was cheating on her. She had all the passwords to all his accounts. She set up video surveillance in his house. She had a tracker on his car. And even though she still had all this shit going on, and she's never caught him cheating, she's still 100% convinced that he is cheating. And here's the thing. If you're doing all of that and he still manages to hook up with somebody on the DL, that should be fine. Okay. Like, that's fair game, well played.
I want to hear examples of how this guy would pull off the cheating. And then you'd be like, you know what? If you do all that, then go ahead.
Yeah.
You tunneled a woman into a bunker with a spoon?
You hired a body double. You invented a car. You built a car that isn't being tracked, which you push down the street. You have your double get into it. The detective follows him instead.
So this is a pretty dumb note, but I feel like if you're going to mention Dr. Phil, you at some point have to do a Dr. Phil impression. It's just such a funny voice. Now you took a car, you tracked his car, you put it, you found his email, you hacked into his Facebook. Such a funny voice.
That's not a bad Dr. Phil, actually.
Yeah, would you come on when I'm doing this joke and do the impression in case I can't learn it?
No problem.
I wanted to question the logic of why it's okay at that point to let him do it. I don't know why. Just because he's really good at cheating, like
he's such an asshole. It's okay.
Yeah, like what is just that tiny little spark of just like you got to respect it because
I don't know. I kind of like it.
It's kind of like when you watch Ocean's 11 at the end. You're just like, I mean, they deserve the money. They got away with it.
I don't understand.
It's like watching a really great heist movie.
I think it's like it's not about them being good at it. It's like I think it's that plus this woman that he's with is being so unreasonable and not letting him have any privacy.
And
it's like
to cheat on
if you're able to have your privacy violated that much, and you are still able to have an affair,
is it kind of like when people are like, Hitler was terrible. He did this. He was terrible, but good speaker though. I mean, he really motivated a lot of people. You have to respect how good of a public speaker he was.
Yeah, there's some. Okay, so I had a jokey like version before I completely deconstruct what it is you're saying as well. Where the jokey version was, God, I'm losing it now. He does this, he does that. If you guys like, this guy's not a cheater, he's an artist. And it's that justification. It's a similar thing with the Ocean's 11. Like when you watch a heist movie, you're not thinking, oh, these guys are a bunch of criminals. You're thinking like, wow, like they're so good at what they do. It's like that he is. It's the heat of cheating. It's the
maybe it's whatever. Like he should be able to cheat on his girlfriend, and also he should be working for the CIA. Like,
right. It's almost like if his girlfriend catches him, she won't be mad. She'll just hire him to figure out how other cheaters cheat.
I like that he gets hired for the CIA, but they can't really like get him to understand the mission, so they have to put it in terms of he's going to hook up with a woman.
Okay, so the terrorists are trying to hook up with our secret missile code.
So we need you to fuck their external hard drive. That's where the launch codes are.
It'll be at the rendezvous point.
That without your girlfriend, the terrorist, finding out.
I'm in.
Hey, what'd you say, Brett?
Well, why don't you say so? I'm in. He doesn't get it first. All right. He slips into the bonds. He's got a tuxedo on all of a sudden.
All right, cool. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Woo-hoo.
So I think I'm up now. Did you know that if you do finger guns and you wink, you can be vulnerable and cool at the same time? It's something that I learned when my first girlfriend broke my heart and completely devastated me.
Did you know that you could be vulnerable and cool, or finger guns can make you seem vulnerable and cool at the same time? And this is something I learned when my first girlfriend broke my heart, and then you do the finger guns.
Completely devastated me.
Completely devastated me.
I have this might be a weird suggestion. I think that you can do it exactly the way that you did it, but just leave out the wink in the description of it. I think it might be a stronger joke if you just say, like, do you guys know that if you do finger guns, it's you can be vulnerable and cool at the same time? It's something that I learned when my first girlfriend broke up with me.
That is such a funny note because I did not write that line about winking, but I did put, let's see if you could see it, an emoji of and so while I was reading it, I just said that because I was looking at winking emoji.
That is a great note. Yeah, that does complicate it when it doesn't have to.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Do you think that would work on stage?
I really do. I don't know. It's.
I love it.
It's a really half-brained idea, but I'm like, that's a joke. That's a fully realized thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I wonder if you can heighten the thing that the inciting incident a little bit more. Like, what did you say? Just broke up with me and broke my heart?
My first girlfriend broke my heart and completely devastated me.
I want to say something like, my wife of 5 years cheated on me with my boss, and then I got fired. Or, I guess I just want it to be more something that you would be more vulnerable about. Like, I feel like everybody's got like a high school girlfriend that they don't give a shit about anymore, or whatever, like the thing that was so embarrassing, but like make it something that you would be vulnerable about right now, maybe.
So, but if you can get married for 5 years or so, that'd really help this joke out.
Would be
my girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend or something.
The girl that I was seeing broke up with me right after my mom died.
What's the first words that you say? I noticed or I discovered? Or
did you know?
Or
Which
did
is
you
a
know?
question which I don't love.
Oh, maybe if you said you just discovered.
Because
Then it justifies why you're doing both. Sort of, even if it was just an accident or whatever, you just, it is sort of.
A little while ago, I discovered that, and then when whatever sad thing happened.
Yeah, I actually liked the thing that you said about the being cheated on right after your mom died. I thought that was better.
Yeah,
agree.
Okay, good notes. All right, well now we'll even stretch more of a. Is this a joke?
Is this anything?
Is this anything? Do you know what it's called when alligators are accused of something that hasn't yet been proven in court?
I want to guess this. Can we guess this?
Yes,
Okay.
I want you to guess this.
Can we
And I think that
pause
you
the
can.
time?
Oh, wait,
All
can you
right.
say it
I
one more
love
time?
fucking guessing. Jared's so
Can you say it
almost
once?
embarrassed, but
I wrote this joke with picturing Rob's response to it.
Can I hear the setup again?
I want to hear. I need to hear the
knowing
setup.
that we have to guess it.
Do you know what it's called when alligators are accused of something that hasn't yet been proven in court?
Okay, so they're accused of something that hasn't yet been proven in court. What alligator? What alligators?
I figured it out. I figured it out.
I think I
Jarret?
have part of it.
Yeah. What alligators are called when they are accused of something that hasn't been proven in court?
No, what it is called when.
Oh, what it is called.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's an indictment.
Jared thinks he has it, so.
Yeah, so Jared, go ahead. I want anyone to figure it out.
I think I'm on to something, but I don't know if it's the full thing.
Go ahead, Jared. I don't have any answers.
It might not be 100%, but I think it's close. Is
Just
it
free thought.
a legigator?
Nope.
It's not about alleged? Is that
I
that's
thought
not
it
it?
was about
okay.
allegations.
Yeah, allegation.
Kind of play on
It's an allegation.
It's an allegation.
That was it.
Right?
Oh, that's the whole thing. Okay.
It's the same word. But they're alligators.
But oh, that's okay.
All right.
Anthony?
It's more like a riddle, like a lot of my jokes.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like it because it is the same word. Okay, last idea
is
here.
somebody making an allegation an alligator?
Oh, yeah.
Like, is that what you would?
That's so funny.
Would you call
Wait
a
a
person
minute.
that?
I did not. There was no sexual misconduct except for allegations by my alligator.
Oh, there's an aggregator.
You need to talk to my alligator. She's the one who's saying. I have to almost feel like that is almost a format for something that could be funny. Not knowing what somebody's called.
Yeah, that there's no verb form of allegation. If there's an allegation, then can someone allegate? And if someone
All of a
can
sudden
allegate, does that mean are they an alligator?
All of a sudden, I'm out of the conversation because I call people who make allegations alligators. I can't be included in this sexual harassment discussion.
They're just crying crocodile tears anyway. And this is a kangaroo court. I know they're not that closely related. Crocodile is more closely related than
One's a
kangaroo.
marsupial. And
Okay. That actually reminds me of another joke. Maybe I should. I'll do this joke. That is reminded, not the one I've written. I never know what to call cops when I get pulled over. Because, like, if you call a state trooper an officer, they're offended. And if you call an officer trooper, you're supposed to say trooper, not officer. So I got pulled over, and I get nervous when I get pulled over, and I call the cop your honor, which is wrong for every one of them.
they're called alligators.
But is it? Do you do that because none of them get upset? Because it's like no matter what.
No, they still get upset.
Oh, they get upset.
So the joke is really that I get nervous and I don't know what to call a police officer.
Very similar to your little person.
Little midget. Yeah, exactly. Little midget joke.
Right, but not as funny.
I think I would like it if you called them Your Majesty or Your Highness or something like that. I mean, I know why you're saying
like,
Your Honor, but
just through trial and error, I can tell you that these are the things that no cops like to be called. Your Honor, Your Majesty, Mr. Badgeman.
Mr. Badgeman's funny. I like that.
I like Mr. Badgeman a lot.
Yeah, maybe I could do that format, like a little list.
There's something to the idea of if the impetus of the joke is the fact that cops don't like being called troopers and troopers don't like being called cops. That's an observation, but the punchline just winds up being the same as the little midget punchline, and so I'm like, I don't know. It's not something that tickles me the right way.
They hate being called for no reason. I don't know, something about calling the cops.
The real funny part to me is calling a cop Your Honor because you don't know what to call them.
Yeah, and I guess I'm not with that. I'm not like, yeah, it's funny. I'm just like, yeah, sure.
I think I would be more.
So I guess we have our first. That is nothing.
Well, I think it would be.
Oh my God! I forgot. Got to have the balloon. Have balloons come down. If there was ever a thing that wasn't anything. God damn it!
But I think it could slightly be something. To me,
Aha!
better if it was.
Oh, okay.
If it was Your Highness or something. I think to me that's.
Wait, Anthony, defend it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Well, no,
I
just to me, that's why I suggested Your Highness or Your Majesty or something, because it would do that for me if it was that, because that's like you're covering your bases no matter who you're talking to. No one is ever going to get offended if you call them that.
Okay, so what if, let's say we take out Your Honor, Your Highness, Your Majesty, and I just do the same joke when I was told that if you get pulled over by a state trooper, if you call them officer, they'll be offended. And then if you call an officer a trooper, they'll be offended. And so I'm never sure what to do, but I will tell you one that you are not supposed to call them is Mr. Badgeman.
I like that.
That tracks more as a joke to me, because Mr. Badgeman, whatever. Your Honor just doesn't, something about him, like, oh, all right. Mr. Badgeman makes me laugh. Kind of.
I like that. I like Mr. Badgeman.
Yeah. That reminds me of the joke more.
Well, because he made.
I like how usually we're like, that reminds me of a joke that this other comic does. But in this situation, you're just like, that reminds me of a joke.
I did not think that alligators was going to be the better joke.
I thought, honestly, there was something else looming where you're just like, I've discovered that state troopers don't like being called cops and that cops don't like being called state troopers. Now I just got to figure out, what should I do about these outstanding warrants? Just like this ridiculous thing that you just keep on getting in trouble with the police or something. I don't know. That's where my mind was a little bit wandering towards. But Mr. Badgeman's
great.
Yeah, I like Mr. Badgeman.
And
that is my favorite
phrase.
band.
You made up a phrase. Jokes are always better when you make up the phrase, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's memorable. People after the show, Mr. Badgeman.
You could put that on a T-shirt.
Especially if there was a cop.
Merch.
Yeah, this little badge right there in the corner.
I get pulled over. I'm like, oh shit. Then I see he has my merch on. I'm like, yeah, Mr. Badgeman.
That's Officer Badgeman to you.
Officer Mr. Badgeman? Is that fair?
My father's name was Mr. Badgeman. Call me Tom.
Tom Badgeman.
I'm Jewish.
Okay. Well, I think that's my time, right?
Right.
I love the idea that Badgeman is his last name.
Tom Badgeman.
All right, Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony, that was a fun break.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
Welcome back,
so
everybody.
Refreshed. Yeah.
You didn't miss anything.
Nothing to
Anthony,
see here.
time is set for you. Hope you're recording. What do you got?
Yes, I've been recording. I have a bunch of time travel stuff. Some that I do on, that I've already done for a while, and then some stuff that never really worked. And so I'm not really sure what the order is, but I guess I could start with just the stuff that worked, and we'll just get in. I'll just go in. That'll be my starting.
Luckily, it's about time travel, so order shouldn't matter too much.
That's hilarious. That I
start with the stuff that's worked in the past, and then get to the stuff that'll work in the future.
It'll meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, tell it like Memento, if you could.
Okay, yeah.
Any jokes that come later in the set, I want to be in black and white.
Okay, let me see. So, how does it start then?
All of his jokes are written on Polaroids. Sorry, go ahead.
So I guess it starts, I go, the future is now. No, wait. Okay, now.
Great joke.
Yeah, that one's fine. 2 weeks from today, I was thinking about time travel. Seems like only yesterday, today was tomorrow. And one day, someday will be today. But I don't even know what day it is anymore, because recently I was in a discount store and I bought an irregular time machine. It's slightly imperfect, so I can only travel... what is it? Fuck. It's slightly imperfect, so I can only travel 1 second at a time, I think. That's what it is. It took me forever to get here.
I think you did this joke before, and I gave you the note. Like, it only goes a few seconds to the future, and just like pause and be like, just did it.
Just did it?
Like, you pause for a second, and you're like, just used it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I could
And I
just
think
pause and go, see?
you should make the qualifier too that it only travels forward in time, and it only goes 1 second at a time. Just so I know that you definitely can't travel backwards.
I don't know if it was this joke that I think what I brought in was a joke about how humans are flesh-covered time machines, except we control the speed or direction. So similar concept, but I think that morphed into this, and some of this stuff worked a little better. I think the audience kind of gets confused when I start talking about irregular time machines, but I think there's something funny about that to me.
Do you think it might be funny to add, like, I bought an irregular time machine, it only goes forward in time 1 second, at a pace of 1 second to 1 second, or whatever, however you phrase it. And you say, some people call it a chair, but I know irregular time machine when I see one.
I do like that.
That's great. That's funny. I just thought of a weird visual. Look at my flare here. You see this?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Looks like an effect.
Is that the weird visual you were talking about, Rob?
That's it, man. Hope you enjoyed that.
I don't know how I'm going to bring that with me on stage. Did you plan that? Is that?
I can get another one because I got another light here. Oh,
You have to
get another one.
Whoa!
involve Rob like Jared's going to involve me for the Dr. Phil impression.
Scorsese over here.
But by the way, I just want to mention, I thought that Dr. Phil was like an impression like Arnold Schwarzenegger that everybody could do. I wasn't like an opportunity for me to be like, look at my good Dr. Phil impression. I didn't realize until you guys were like, that's pretty good. That wasn't something that everybody can do.
Really?
I just know that I haven't tried it, and I didn't want to try it in front of you guys because I was nervous that I wouldn't get it anywhere close, and then I would be teased.
What if you did it and it came out as
Boston accent.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Anthony, my thought to you was that if you were to take like a time-lapsed recording of humans and like the Earth, or humans in like buildings or any other kind of like inanimate structures, it would look as if the buildings and the Earth are what's traveling through time, and we're just like weird they're traveling to the future, and we're just the passing like what they are passing.
Yeah. Okay. I always had a problem.
It's so funny for Anthony to be in that disposition of like,
All right.
the fuck?
Okay, you weirdos.
So Rob's idea was
To my
really
time
out
travel
there.
jokes.
I mean, I do agree. I agree with it as a time travel concept. I don't know how I would fit it in.
I don't know either. I was
To
just
the-
thinking out loud. Whatever, man. Back to my time travel jokes.
Yeah, no,
Up
Anthony.
your nonsense.
It's just that you are so open-minded about abstract ideas. It was so
To see
funny.
you roll your eyes and off and just like, whatever,
Okay, you
man.
weirdo.
It's really funny.
I didn't mean it like that. It's just
I guess
like,
you can
that's not
say-
What I
It's
said
just-
was weird. I get it.
It was just not. I didn't expect. Yeah, that's not. Because I
You know
have
what, Rob?
so many other dark jokes, and this is one of the ones where I can always count on it to be lighthearted. So if you did a time lapse of me standing next to my dad, it would be he's just melting away, and now I'm by myself.
Both melting away. You're both melting away. Because remember,
Oh, it's not sad now.
you're saying that people are like time machines. We're like meat covered time machines that are moving forward through time. But I'm challenging you by saying, in reality, it's the inanimate objects that are the ones traveling
Yeah.
through time. If you were to put yourself in a time travel movie, you put your time machine,
Rob is
and
glitching.
then you would time lapse. Am I actually glitching?
When it,
Yeah,
now,
you're,
it's
you're,
it's
you're
okay now.
getting choppy a little bit. But what you were saying didn't make sense anyway, so it's fine.
Okay, perfect, good.
No, actually, it does make sense because even though we are technically traveling through time as we go, I guess the difference is that when you're in a time machine, supposedly your body wouldn't age if you went to the future. So it is a
Right,
slightly
with the matter of
disconnected concept.
aging. And so since the Earth around us doesn't age as fast as we do, Earth that is technically traveling.
Such an
And we'd
unfortunate
be the one
time
not
for
aging.
Rob's connection to be shitty.
It'd be weird if the glitching was making it make sense.
It's like the harder you explain it, the more your internet connection's like, nope.
Damn it! All right, sorry, Anthony.
I have
Rob,
okay,
I just have to say before Anthony gets back into it, that is nothing.
Anyway, so I've had problems getting audiences to laugh at any of that stuff about irregular time machines and then traveling 1 second at a time. I guess traveling 1 second at a time is sometimes it'll get something, and then when I say it took me forever to get here, sometimes that'll get something. But it's never enough for me to justify the concept of going into a discount store and buying an irregular time machine that is slightly imperfect. I think that concept is funny. I don't know.
Anthony, would you do the part right before you talk about the irregular time machine again? It
Just
seemed
when I
like
say
yesterday when
recent-
today was tomorrow or something.
Oh yeah. 2 weeks from today, I was thinking. 2 weeks from today, I was thinking about time travel. Seems like only yesterday. Today was tomorrow, and one day, someday, will be today. But I don't even know what day it is anymore because recently I was in a discount store, and I bought an irregular time machine. It's slightly imperfect, so I can only travel to the future 1 second at a time. It took me forever to get here. That was what it was.
I think after that whole series of, I was thinking of in the future, 2 weeks from now, about time travel. That is so much math that I can't keep up with it logically. It would be nice to have an end of that of like, and that's how you make broccoli soup. Or just something. There seems to need to be an end point to that, and I would love for it to be something silly like that.
like the audience missed something, like they traveled through
because
time
I'm just
while I was
so
telling this joke.
I'm so confused. Yeah, that's really funny. I'm so confused. You have the audience now confused. I'm assuming you guys didn't follow that either, but you have the audience confused. That's a nice tool to go somewhere with.
Right. I like seems like only yesterday because that is a phrase that we're familiar with. But today was tomorrow.
Seems like
I
only
believe is how you
yesterday,
add up.
Today was tomorrow.
Today was tomorrow. Yeah. So I lose logically if that is that supposed to make a coherent sense in some.
Yeah, it does.
Yesterday,
I didn't think so the first time I heard
tomorrow.
it, but
And
then
you got
when
it-
I heard it
you
the
got it
second time,
eventually?
I was like, oh yeah, that's very clever.
If I'd only
Seems like
said yesterday, today was tomorrow, that would make sense. I'm only putting it seems like only yesterday.
Seems like I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Got it. Great. I just wasn't sure because I didn't figure it out yet.
That part usually gets a laugh. I just sort of tried to expand on it. The someday, today stuff never really worked, but
What's the line after the it seems like yesterday, today was tomorrow?
And one day, someday will be today.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I guess.
But I don't even know what day it is anymore. It's like the beginning of the
transition
next
to that
part,
next
but
thing.
also it's a transition that's sort of a punchline to that.
I don't know if that part makes sense. One day, someday will be today.
Yeah.
One day.
People
like
are always
in the
saying,
future,
someday, I'll do that thing. One day, someday.
Someday.
Oh, but,
will
okay.
Will be today.
One day, someday will be today, but by then, today will be a little while ago.
Interesting. I see. It's funny because I thought those parts were the parts that kind of worked. So
They
it's funny
do
that you
work.
guys already.
Oh yeah, but I think
Yeah.
you could just if you can keep going with the fluidity of correct logic and then confuse the audience, and then you can come out somewhere different
Okay.
with it.
Or maybe just end that whole section with, those were the days.
Oh yeah. Well, I do actually have some. I have some nostalgia jokes too. I don't know if this could be the next part. I have it for some reason. I have it as a dream because I don't really know how else to do it. This could potentially be next. So I had a dream that I traveled back in time to when I was a kid. I saw my best friend from college. I went over and I said, "Hey, remember the good old days?" And he said, "Who are you?" I said, "That's for me to know and you to find out." There's no time like the present unless you have a time machine. Then you've got nothing but time on your hands. Okay, these are just lines about time travel. I don't know what to do with.
I like the theme of the day. There's no time like the present. Unless you have a time machine, then you have all the time on your hands.
I guess all the time in the world could also work there.
All the time in the world.
Is any of that thing about the friend not recognizing me, is any of that something?
You had a dream where you saw a friend from college, but he was a kid?
Yeah, so we didn't know each other yet.
I see. That's for me to know, you to find out. I like that's for me to know and you to find out type of thing. The fact that it's a dream and it's time travel, I guess messes with my head
Well,
a little bit.
I don't know how I could present that as...
I have an idea for a justification. Brett, the alarm, please. Thank you. Wait, that is not the way.
That's when you do have a justification. That's when you do have a justification. The other, the beep, that's when there's no justification. You need one.
Oh, wow.
Do you ever?
I know how my alarm works.
He
Do you
got it
ever
at
do
his
that
discount
thing?
store.
Do you ever do that thing where you see somebody that you think you recognize, but in order for it to be them, they would have had to have not aged in the last 20 years?
Oh,
I think
okay.
so. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you see somebody that looks like Bill from high school, but he's still 16 years old, so it's impossible for him to be Bill from high school. So maybe that could be the justification. Like, I thought I saw a guy from high school at the store, but it couldn't have been him because he was still 16 years old. So I went up to him and I said, "Hey, you remember when we used to hang out?" And he was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Well, you'll find out one day." I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe that's too confusing, but possibly.
I do like that. I'd like it
justification.
happening in real life. And you've already time traveled in your jokes before, Anthony. So I don't think it's super weird for you to jump in a time machine.
Okay. All right.
And whenever
I don't
possible, maybe someone's face melts because they're traveling.
Time lapse in there somewhere.
So far in the future.
Maybe it's something about
Raiders of the Lost Ark or something.
Maybe it's me talking to my past self, and I'm like, "Who are you?" And I say, "That's for me." I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that works.
That works. Yeah, I think that's not so weird. Who are you? That's for me to know, for you to find out. That's great, actually.
Ooh, that could be like, sometimes people will do like as an exercise, like write a letter to your young self.
Oh yeah,
with
like
whatever advice you want to give them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have time for some other time travel thing?
I think
absolutely.
I think you answered your own question.
That's my time.
Does anybody have anything else for anything that I've said?
Have you ever tried tinkering around with different types of time travel, where there's like the idea of that you can change the past versus the fact you can't change the past, et cetera, et cetera? I don't know.
Back to the Future versus 12 Monkeys.
Right. If is this a Looper situation, Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure, or is this Terminator 1 or is it Terminator 2?
I had an idea. What if you say part of the back and forth with the playing with the today's tomorrow from now and stuff like that, and you're like, anyways, they're not going to let me be a writer on the new Terminator movie. I mean, I was just like picturing you in the writer's room, like, but today is tomorrow, a week from now. They're like, we need to know about when he shoots a machine gun.
That would be a fun sketch, I think. In a writing room, trying to work on on Terminator.
One writer just can't get the time travel stuff.
Yeah, everyone's confused.
Up on it.
I like that. Okay, let me see if I can get.
You ever thought about going back in time so that you could be the one who wrote Terminator?
That's really funny.
Think about it.
Really funny.
I like that. That would be the one thing that I would do.
That would be the one. I hate the Terminator franchise. I want to go back in time and kill James Cameron so he can.
That's funny.
But my buddy Jarret loves the Terminator movies, so he's going to go back and try to stop me. Turns out that's where he got the idea. We just hadn't bothered, there'd be no Terminator movies.
Maybe we're arguing whether Terminator or Aliens is the better franchise. I want to go back in time to try to stop it. But before I do, I don't know, you lay an egg in my face. I'm not sure.
And then I come in with a scripture for Avatar. And I just lay it at James Cameron's feet. I come back with an action figure that's just like a normal sized action figure, but it actually gets stretched out in the process of me traveling in time. And I leave that with James Cameron. And he's like, aha.
Are you getting this, Anthony?
I'm writing it all down.
I think this is the most abuse we've had of one person's turn ever.
So to answer your question, no, I don't have any more thoughts on what you've said so far.
I have different thoughts about unrelated things.
We have tons of thoughts. But as far as what you're trying to accomplish, nothing.
Nothing.
No.
But we've got lots of thoughts.
But okay, so
What else you
here's
got?
this other thing. This I could never get to work. Drinking wine would be different if there were time machines and we could travel into the future, because I like my wine to come from the past. Wine is the most expensive the further in the past it was made. But if you could have wine from the future, that would be even more valuable, but only for a limited time. Eventually, it would become worthless. But then if you kept waiting, it would work itself out.
I got lost a fourth of the way through.
Just the idea of going into the future. If you traveled 100 years into the future and they're like, oh, here's this
2021.
Yeah, this 2026 wine or something, you'd be like, what the fuck? That doesn't sound good to me. Not where I'm from.
Ah.
But then if somebody actually brought wine from the future here today, that would be pretty impressive, that. But it would only be But eventually, we'd catch up to whatever. If it was a 2030 wine now in 2020, you'd be like, how the fuck did you do that? All right, I'll try it. People might pay for it. But in 2030,
if people drank a wine from the past, it would still taste like a 2020 wine because it would be if it was made that year, they'd be like, this tastes like a 2020 wine.
Yeah, I was thinking of that the logic makes more sense to me if you travel back in time and you're impressed with a wine from 1905. You're like, ooh, cool. And you're like, this is grape juice.
But why would I be impressed with it? It wouldn't actually
because from your time period,
you're
just
like,
by the look of it, you'd be like, oh, look at that. Because like at Olive Garden, when
but
for example,
I would be wrong.
Yeah. Like we had wines that were that were a couple years old, so it'd be like 5 years old or something like that, right? And but if that wine somehow was able to be properly stored for the next 50 years, maybe it would be something. But if someone from 50 years from now came back to Olive Garden and went, oh, look at this, a 2015 wine, interesting. They would think that it's good by the bottle, and they drink it and go, this is stupid.
I think the idea is there. I just think that the structure needs to be tweaked to where there's a surprise in it.
Yeah, it is. I guess maybe I shouldn't have picked years that were so far apart. But I was just thinking, like, if there was a wine from 5 years from now, 2025, people would be like, wow, that's great in 2020. It's amazing. How'd you get this wine from 2025? I'll pay, twice what it's worth. And then in 2025, people will be like, this is garbage. But then in 2050, people will be like, oh, no, this is something again. So it's just that's sort of the idea that I like, is that just by the label, it would change the value.
Right. But I'm saying that you're just missing the extra layer, which is the actual taste of it. You're not including any of that.
But I'm not talking about the taste. I'm talking
perception.
about the value that it would have.
So
I agree.
Sure if you brought a wine,
there's probably
if you brought a wine from. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt, Anthony.
Go on.
If you brought a wine to 2020 from 2025, is that wine aged at all?
In the joke that I'm trying to present, I think it would be irrelevant, because based on the fact that it shouldn't exist, people would pay a lot for it.
And I agree with that. I understand that. But you were purposely picking a product. Sorry.
And it was super valuable, but then you forgot about it until 2250. And then you remembered. You're like, oh, 2250. That's when I got I forgot to sell it. And now it's worth nothing. So you have to wait another 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That is that's definitely Anthony's conception. With the timeline, without that delivery system. But I'm just saying you have picked a product that actually does age well, and then you're ignoring a very important aspect of it, which is just like saying, but they should want it at this point. Like, they don't know that they'd be getting very properly aged wine. They don't seem to they don't realize that.
Oh, sorry, Rob. At the risk of, I don't know why.
This is now called Jarret and Friends.
It's tickling you so much when I interrupt.
Put a pin in it, everybody. I got something to say.
I don't mind getting cut off. When I say sorry, I stop talking.
That's what I tried with Anthony, but then he stopped talking too.
He must be on mushrooms, so he doesn't care.
Yeah, maybe if you guys asserted yourself, I wouldn't interrupt you so much. Pull yourself up from your bootstraps.
Snakeskin boots.
Let's see here. So, at the risk of beating this horse to death, which is not the expression. What if instead?
A melted state.
What if instead you were like, I got a bottle of wine from 1910, but then I went back in time to 1910 and nobody was impressed.
Yeah, that's cool. Or, you know what you could do? You could include other objects of yours. I brought back, I went back in time and they were marveling at all this stuff that I had, a telephone and whatever, and then they weren't so impressed with my 100 years vintage aged wine. They seemed to like, oh yeah, Bill makes those down the street. We get that. That's
or
fine.
any antique, I think would be really funny to bring back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. Maybe.
What if you built your time machine out of an antiques shop? And when you went back in time, it just became a shop.
So it's a second-hand time machine?
Just a regular store.
It's a regular store?
Yeah, when you went back in time. I do like the idea. I might be losing
I actually
it.
really like that joke. I think it's good.
You built your time machine out of an antique store?
Yeah, instead of out of a DeLorean or a refrigerator, you built it out of an antique store. So when you go back, all the antiques are preserved, just like you are, in the shop.
And
But it
everybody's
becomes
like,
just
But
a
they're
store.
not antiques
Oh, I have.
anymore.
Oh,
You'd
don't
have-
Target.
That is just a store.
You'd have to start with a store and then go to the future, and then it's an antique store.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm starting with an antique store and I'm going to the past.
So it becomes less valuable.
It becomes a store. Yeah, it just becomes a store. I
Okay.
fucked up. I didn't mean to. I went back in time.
An antique store is not a regular store because of the variety of things in there. It's all old stuff. That's the only thing it has in common. But if you took that store and put it in the past, it would be a super weird store. It's like, okay, so I've got a shirt and a clock and a bike.
A painting of some random people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Did you rob somebody?"
I like the idea that it would be a store full of it's a store that has stuff that you could find anywhere, but all in one place.
So your antique store in the past becomes a garage sale.
Yeah. Right. That's funny. That's great. It's just a garage sale.
Here's a shirt and a record and a fork. I don't know why you buy forks.
I'm not crazy about this. I'm not crazy about this clock. Do you have any others? Nope.
No, just this clock.
Just
This
this one.
clock was made this year. Why is it? How did you get it covered in dust?
This phone doesn't work anymore, but you're going to want this. Trust me.
I love going antiquing. Just don't try the food. I think I have to call it there, guys. This was fun for me, but I gotta
You
go.
don't have another 3 hours of time travel jokes in you, Rob?
No, I don't. I gotta get ready for my other group.
Oh yeah, you got some good stuff for them today, huh? Start off with the melting parents.
It's crazy because I have nothing for my next group.
There is okay. So to defend my position a little more.
Oh, Rob,
That's
you're
what
breaking
was
up.
missing.
You're breaking up.
You're glitchy.
I liked it. I just didn't think it fit with what I
That's what was missing. Was it didn't go on long enough? Anthony, if you bring another time travel joke into this group, I am going to travel to Denver and murder.
Okay. If I were to, I'm going to explain this one more time. This is going to work. If I were to stand,
It's going to look like I'm not here, Rob, but I am.
if I were to stand next to
Yeah,
a
me
building,
too.
he just starts playing Apex.
Brett's using that really great filter where it looks like he's playing Apex. That's a great filter. It's such a fun filter.
Yeah, thank you
Great
guys
job,
for-
guys.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to Is This Anything? We will see you next episode.
Can you do that with more of a dead enthusiasm? face?
Oh yeah.
We'll see you on the next episode, unless you're using a time machine, and then we'll see you on the episode
Anthony,
that
I
you
swear
missed out
to
for.
fucking God, Anthony.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Is This Anything? We will see you in the next episode.
Or the
Can I do a sign off also?
Sure.
Do you guys mind?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming to.
Oh my gosh, Jared's getting up!
He's upright.
What?
Thanks for
We were
coming.
going to save this for the 100th episode, Jarret. The big reveal when Jarret gets up.
That seems like a good place to end it. All right, goodbye. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check back for more individual clips and full episodes every Monday, or you can listen wherever you enjoy podcasts. If you want to support the show and get access to special fan-only content, go to patreon.com/ITApod. That's ITApod, as in Is This Anything Podcast. Relevant links in the description. Take care.